Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SRHM podcast. My name is Nina Sun, and I'm an associate editor for the SRHM Journal. In this episode, we hear from Samuel Bester, a video artist and composer based in Marseille. Samuel generously provided the cover image for the special collection on sexual pleasure, a collaboration between SRHM and the Pleasure Project. The image is taken from his short film, Hermaphrodite. He shares with SRHM Chief Executive Esther Kismodi his background, details about his work, and his connection to sexual pleasure. Details about the special collection can be found in the show notes. We hope you enjoy listening.
Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Esther.
Thank you so much for being available today for this conversation. And thank you also so much for providing us your beautiful image from your video art film for using it as a cover photo for the SRHM Journal special issue on sexual pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much, Esther, for the invitation, and I'm very proud to be part of your publication. This is really a great honor for me. Thank you very much.
So for those who are listening or reading the blog, I'm Esther Kismodi. I'm the Chief Executive of Sexual and Reproductive Health Matters, SRHM. And I'm here today with Samuel Bester, a video artist and acousmatic music composer from Marseille, who generously provided us his image to our Pleasure special issue. We have a custom, especially in the past, I think, 5 years, when we are looking for artists whose artwork is in one way or another is connected to the special issue or the theme issue that we are publishing. And then we have this conversation with the artist as well. So could you tell a couple of words about yourself and your artwork, Samuel?
Yes, hi. So my name is Samuel Bester, and I was always fascinated by art, by the inexpressible and the irrational. And I was always interested in the emotion and the upheavals it can create in us. I've always been brought by my parents in art exhibition, and so whether it's drawing, photography, or poetry, or moving images, I tried since I'm very young to find out, to understand and practice art. So first of all with a pen, with drawing, and then I discovered the video art in when I was studying in Strasbourg in the Art Décoratif from Strasbourg, and with my teacher. There was a video art teacher. This was in '92, and then this is where I learned I discovered video art. And video art is an art practice born in '63, thanks to Namjoon Paik, and this is an heritage of the Fluxus movement. And the Fluxus movement is an art movement which strives not to separate art from life. And this is really my philosophy, to have life and art really bind together. So this is how I learned to discover the video art that is mixing lots of things I was really interested in, image and sound, of course, sound that speaks a lot to the heart and to the body, and also time. And this is something that you don't have in lots of different kind of art, but time is also something very important. And for me, in time and in sound, there is something very special, and this is what we can read in the Little Prince, when the fox says, "You can only see well with your heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye." And this is for me something very important to me and in my work, that art can reveal things and that we won't see or we wouldn't have seen. Sometimes it's here, but we don't have the gaze to see. There are so many things we don't see. So this was my background when I studied art, and I also worked with sound that we can call acousmatic music, but there's another word we can call it electroacoustic music or musique concrète. It was invented also by Pierre Henry and Pierre Schaeffer in the 40s. And what is interesting in the acousmatics, this is a very interesting word, I think, because it comes also from the ancient Greek theater. It's a way of playing. And this was on stage. The musicians were hidden behind a curtain, and so that the audience couldn't see the musicians. And this is the idea of that, to detach the object that makes the sound from the sound we hear. So we get closer to the pure meaning of the sound. So this is what is very interesting in acousmatic music, and this is also what I experiment with in my work. Sometimes I make videos, but also make sometimes only sound. So this is for me very important. This is my philosophy would be like Robert Fillou said, the definition of art that I find very nice is, he said, art is what makes life more interesting than art. And for me, this is something that I do with my work.
And the image that we are using is coming from a video artwork of yours. Can you tell us a little bit more about the image? Where is it coming from? How is it situated? And how is it situated in your broader recent artwork?
Yes, this image is taken from a video work called Hermaphrodite. And this is one of the 8 works I did based on the Marie Cosnet. It's a new Marie Cosnet's translation of Ovid's Metamorphoses, and a poem, that is now more than 2,000 years old. And there are lots of very fascinating stories in this Metamorphosis book. I did eight works based on this, on different kind of stories, and 2 of them have images. This Hermaphrodite and the other one that I did recently called Narcissus. So I discovered in this new, it's quite new translation. It's from 2017. There's an incredible modernity in this text that resonates in many ways today. So this is lots of evocation of love, harassment, eroticism, and pleasure, many feelings expressed with an incredible force in this poem. And this is a huge poem. It's quite a big, maybe 120 different stories. So this is the image, where the image comes from is this hermaphrodite. So in this text, what I found very, very interesting, and that it leaves in this translation, because there are many translations. In this, there's plenty of room left for the reader to imagine and build his own imaginary world. And this is for me very important. This is what I try to do in my work. It's evoking, like hermaphrodite, this is quite famous story, but it evokes the fusion of 2 genders, male and females, and they are bringing together in a new genre. So there's a beautiful sensuality, even if the 2 characters, one gets in love with the other and the other doesn't. So it's a kind of it doesn't really agree, but like in lots of Metamorphosis story, the gods are not very kind with humans, and they accept the question of Salmacis, who is asking to be bound forever with this boy Hermaphrodite. They accept, so they get together, and they are both sexes together. So the image comes from this video. This is one of the image of the film that is maybe 10 minutes long. So this video is really the almost the entire story. So I have characters who speak, who reads the text, because the text really sounds, it has really also a very interesting music in the words. So this is where the image comes from that you choose.
So then the journal issue, so let's go to pleasure. So the journal issue is dealing, as we discussed, we have several articles, research articles, review articles, commentaries, discussions about sexual pleasure in this journal issue. I think if the readers and the listeners want to, we have a fascinating editorial, guest editorial for this special issue. It's really dealing with different angles. I mean, you mentioned it's how to enjoy sexual life, pleasure without violence, but also dealing with sexual pleasure itself. How your artwork is connected to pleasure and sexual pleasure. What is your connection, and your artwork is connecting to the topic?
Yes, this is quite new for me, but I had a Christian upbringing, born in Switzerland, and the pleasure wasn't really at all something we talked about. So in my childhood, but and eroticism, pleasure, and pornography were really designated as something bad. As a child, we tried to protect them from bad. So it was something that is something I didn't grow up with. But very soon, very early, I don't remember the age, but I was quite small, I think maybe 9 or 10, I discover in the library of my parents, a bit hidden, a very beautiful book of Helmut Newton with his photograph. And then this is, for me, it gave me a kind of strange pleasure, because it was in my mind something that was forbidden. And it also gave me a strange pleasure, a strange feeling at that time. Those photographs of Helmut Newton. And so it telescoped two a priori opposed feelings: something that is forbidden and something that gives me pleasure. So this is, for me, this was a very important moment in my life, when I understood something came out from the binarity of good and evil. There was something in between, and this was something for me that we can call the perhaps. It's between good and bad and evil, and there's something in between. This is so what I learned in the beginning when I was small. And so it's a kind of it's like the discovery for me I heard about quite recently, because my son did an expose on it, about quantum entanglement. It's something very fascinating. I find it means that you are and then quantum mechanics, you have elements that can have two at the same time. So you can be here and there at the same time. And for me, this was very important discovery. So you can be in two states simultaneously, and this is something that was very important to me. So I started to work with pleasure, about pleasure, with a video I did 5 or 6 years ago, and I was inspired by a wood print of Hokusai from 1814. It shows an octopus, two octopuses undertaking a woman that is lying. We don't know really where, but it's underwater. And I had this text translated, and this text, I was really expecting that we will listen to a nice tale, because the artist has been inspired by a tale about a princess, like something very classical. And I was really surprised to hear the translation of this, because it was really deeply sexual and pleasure-oriented nature. This was really a story, sometimes very rude. And this is, I took this text, what was written on this image of the Hokusai wood print, to be the story of my video. So this was, for me, also a great discovery. It was a kind of trigger, this film, because I was surprised to see this really very erotic text in this old painting, old representation. So it made me realize that when I did present this film, it has a kind of small success. I showed it in many video art festival. And then I had lots of encouragement of variety of people. And then I discovered that many people were enthusiastic, and they were pleasantly surprised of the image I had in this film, that is quite some of them are really kind of pornographic. But I realized that it was very important for lots of people, and this is something we don't discuss a lot in our lives and our society. The pleasure is something that we don't talk much about. And when I see all this image on social networks, on Instagram, for example, when I see all these images censored and sometimes old paintings from the 19th century are censored. So this is something I found revolting, to see the prudishness that is now developed in the social networking, because at the beginning, internet was brought with it a promise of freedom, of non-censorship, and now we are again in a kind of morality, and this is brought to us by the large capitalist group that decided that this is something you don't have, you can't show or you can't evoke, and this is for me something. It's a kind of new morality. Before it was religion that gave us the morality, and now I think that we have a new kind of morality. And so for me, that's a shame, and that's why I try in my work, in my own small way, with the video I can do. I think I became a pleasure activist.
So that leads to the last question to me, that, as you know, the journal is connected. We are producing knowledge that we use for influence, and knowledge and evidence for change of laws, policies, advocacy, influencing service delivery in relation to sexual health as well. And it's, as you say, it's very, very relevant in the today world, when you said in the past, but today as well, depending which part of the world we are, religion, society, culture, politics is censoring and attacking the fulfillment, the respect and protection of sexual health and rights. So how do you see, or how would you like to see the impact or influence of your work as it is? I mean, you started to answer it in your previous answer, but would you like to see, or how would you like to see that your artwork resonate in relation to sexual pleasure and pleasure?
Yeah, I like to say that when you want to change direction, you first have to slow down. For me, this is something important. When you have a speeding train, he needs to brake to avoid derailing on a bend. So this is for me something very important, to slow down. It means in the way we are dealing with the technology, and something we are encouraged to go always faster and faster. So this is for me the first thing to do. And as you said, to change things, it's important, but to change things, first we have to slow down and to take time for reflection. And this is why in my work, and this is personal, I was surprised to look at old texts, like text we can read. Also, I was really surprised, like I said, about the Hokusai 1814, but much before, sorry for my English, we found text from 3,000 years before Christ, and the Sumerians wrote very erotic text, and really amazing text about pleasure, about how gods made love, and how you can have pleasure and can procreate, and it's amazing. So for me, taking this slow down movement is also reading ancient texts, and in ancient philosophy, like poetry, also from Ovid. He did also write a very nice book I have here about love letters. The way that we can see that the situation we have here is not an evolution that goes, for me, in the good direction, because we have lots of censorship and lots of morality that comes out that is quite new. It's not, it didn't happen in the ancient time, like I said, in the Sumerian. So the texts weren't hidden, or they weren't a shameful text. So taking about pleasure, for me, I try not to talk in the medium where it's obvious to talk about pleasure or eroticism, for example, in pornography, film, photography, or erotic film or industry, because you preach is to convince the people. So if what I want to do in my work, in my experience, is this video art or film or audio I do is shown to a much larger audience, and with small evocation I can do, it can so it can bring images and feelings to audience. And I will always remember I did a screening of this film about Hokusai, and after the screening, I had 3 elderly women who called me out after the screening to thank you for showing the clitoris as I showed it in my film. And this will really stay for me for whether this discussion. It was so amazing to have this discussion after the screening. So for me, it's like, as if I can quote Epicurus. Epicurus said that learning and pleasure go hand in hand. And I like this idea that we have to accept, to talk about it, and to feel them, because lots of, like I said, social media try to make pleasure something bad or hidden, or something you have to keep for you or for yourself, and this is not true. It's not true for me. You have lots of very nice text, old text and poetry that makes you feel alive, because desire is something everybody has, and pleasure is something everybody have, and why not speak about it? So if I can, I try to provoke pleasure in my video, and to activate pleasant excitement, and to mix the excitement, physical excitement, but also the intellectual awareness. So this is what I try to do with my work, is to get out the pleasure out of the ghetto where it is now.
Thank you so much, and really congratulations for your work, and bon continuation. And we hope that we may be able to continue in different other ways. But for this moment, we really appreciate of providing us the image. And thank you so much for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us for this insightful conversation. Please check the show notes for a link to the SRHM journal, which is available online and open access. Follow us on social media and sign up for our newsletter to receive notifications for new publications. If you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe, give us a rating, or leave a review. Sharing evidence-based and rights-grounded knowledge is our passion, and it's also critical to support the advocacy and actions that need to be taken to improve SRHR for all. We would very much appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the SRHM podcast, which is produced by our staff. The music was composed by Tiber Christian and Salomon Beautond.